This is going to sound a little bit like a commercial, but bear with me, it's not. There are a lot of reasons why people drink non-alcoholic beer. One of the big reasons is a noble one, to avoid driving drunk and hurting somebody. Or maybe they just do it to avoid being arrested. Well, that did not work for a New Mexico man because a cop and a judge never bothered to learn the law. Matt Grubbs is on special assignment tonight with how a driver cited and convicted for having an open O douls is now trying to get revenge.
Wake up and read the damn law.
Gary Southern is not a guy who takes being slighted lightly. It was a 91-degree day when a police officer pulled him over and Southern was enjoying a frosty beverage on the road.
There's a van, captain seats, right in the middle there.
When the officer asked to see the bottle, Southern obliged.
You weren't thinking anything of it?
Of course not, because it's not a violation.
Southern was tossing back an O douls, sold and marketed as a non-alcoholic beer.
Contains less than 0.5%.
Smelling beer, Southern says the officer called for a sergeant to do a field sobriety test. Southern, who was about as irritated then as he is now, passed, and then the sergeant asked to see the bottle.
I showed it to her, and she read it. Oh, contains alcohol. Okay.
Gary Southern drove away with a ticket for an open container and a court date. In Tucumcari, that means an appearance in front of Judge Joe Dominguez.
I informed him that O douls does have some little bit of alcohol in it, and that it is sold in the liquor section.
Despite Southern's objections that O douls wasn't actually an alcoholic beverage, Judge Dominguez convicted him.
I feel I did my job by finding him guilty.
As he does with all his cases, Judge Dominguez says he told Southern he had 15 days to appeal.
And I actually was hoping that he would appeal, but he didn't do it.
3 days later, with a job to get to up in Colorado, Gary Southern paid the fine. Months later, he says he couldn't let the ticket go and actually looked up the law.
Chapter 66-1-4-1.
The law says Gary Southern is right. It says quite clearly that an alcoholic beverage is a drink, quote, containing more than 0.5% alcohol. The label on an O douls says it contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume. And a spokesman for Anheuser-Busch says the brew actually comes in at 0.4%.
Do you think you were wrong in your reading of the law? You know,
No.
where it says 0.5?
No.
Judge Dominguez, who points out that as a municipal judge in a small town, he is not an attorney, has a sober assessment of his decision.
It is my opinion that any amount of alcohol is alcohol.
Armed with a copy of the law, Southern is on a quest.
Somebody wants to read it, because then somebody's got to admit they made a mistake.
He tried to appeal to district court, but by the time he completed his research, the statute of limitations on the appeal had run out. His conviction was upheld.
So for you, you're just going to have to live with this on your record?
Well, it's too late for that.
But about that quest,
And I'm going to put you out of business.
I mean, he's just vicious and he's revengeful.
Joe Dominguez is facing Gary Southern as an opponent for municipal judge. The election is next month. Southern's already tried unsuccessfully to unseat Joe Dominguez.
I don't want anybody else to go through the agony I've been on this case.
But he's not quitting, and neither is Joe Dominguez.
Do you think he's ever going to wear you down and you'll just not run?
I doubt it. I'm not a quitter.
He's a judge. He should know the law.
On special assignment, Matt Grubbs, KRQE News 13.
Well, in fact, state law does not require municipal judges to have a background in the law. Judge Dominguez used to be an investigator with the State Human Services Department. Now, Gary Southern's background is pretty much a jack of all trades who's done everything from construction to driving potato trucks.